Greeny from Barstool Sports. How you doing, guys? How we feeling?
What's going on?
So we didn't get the marquee matchup. I was drooling over Tatum versus Harden and Westbrook versus Jaylen Brown or whoever, but we didn't get that. We got no starters. We got a couple of bench guys also took the night off, but we got to see a lot of the young guys, of course. We got Robert Williams balling out. We got a little bit of Carson Edwards putting somebody on a poster. Greeny, let's start with you. What's your strongest takeaways from these young Celtics going up against the Houston Rockets?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was expecting that Kemba was going to sit, with Milwaukee on Friday, but you look around the league and outside of the Lakers, like everyone is playing their normal rotation guys in this third scrimmage. So when I found out, or when I saw the tweet that it was pretty much the summer Celtics in, what is essentially a throwaway game, it was like kind of disappointing just because the regulars on this team haven't beaten the Rockets in has to be like 2 or 3 years by now. So I wanted to see how they matched up against elite perimeter guards, but once you get me a little bit of Taco, a little bit of Carson Edwards, I'm like drunk off Celtics summer Kool-Aid. So I loved it, even though they just got completely destroyed.
Yeah, and you gotta jump in there. The James Harden, I think that kid's got a future for a summer league game. I think he might play some meaningful minutes down the stretch there for Houston. They really went for it, huh? I mean, Harden had 30 100 points, half, 35 points. That was hard to watch, but again, that was a dose of what you get. Yeah,
he's coaching it like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
They went for it.
Why are they still in the game?
And they suffered an injury for it too.
Congrats, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. After Gordon got hurt, and then you went to the half, and then you started the third quarter with your same starting lineup. It's like, what are you doing? You're up 30 points.
See, that's a stubborn move, though. I was thinking that the whole time. Like, that's D'Antoni saying, no, this was still a good idea, guys. I'm not going to, back away from this starting my guys here in the second half just to prove a point. But he actually slept with those guys throughout most of the third quarter. I was surprised as well. These guys have to compete here. You got a chance to maybe knock off the Clippers or the Lakers, and now you're down Eric Gordon, and he still put out Westbrook and Harden right in there in the second half.
I know. It's almost like, you're tempting the basketball gods to have someone pull a hamstring again and just ruin their entire run.
Let's rip through some of what we saw with the Celtics.
Sure.
Starting with, we'll talk about moments rather than performances. We were talking about it right before we went live, but the Carson Edwards dunk has to be the highlight there. I didn't know he had that in the bag.
No, definitely not. And I think, he had a couple of those when he was at Purdue, but we have not seen him finish strong like that with his offhand since he's been a member of the Celtics. But his shot was all right too. He wasn't. There were some threes where he left him a little bit short, but this was by far the best we've seen him play probably since last summer league. If you can
Carson,
I thought
I knew
he gave him huge.
I knew Carson had the ups, but to do it on James Harden, I feel like a few plays before that, Grant Williams was scared to go against James Harden, and when he pretty much got a foul out of it, but I'm like, come on, Grant, go strong against James Harden. He's not an elite defender.
Yeah, I think halfway through his elevation, I was like, oh, he's just trying to draw the foul, whatever. He'll go to the line.
Nope.
And then he kept going, and then he cocked it back, and then he finished it. It's like I had to like make sure I wasn't playing 2K or something. It was. I did not know that was possible.
We'll go around the horn what we saw today. We were talking last game a ton about Romeo. We want to see Romeo do something in these scrimmages because you don't know how many minutes he's going to get when they start again. And they start him today, and that's great. And he played a ton of minutes, but only 7 shots. And I just don't get it. Like, I wanted to see Romeo fire away. Carson took 18 shots, I think. I wanted to see Romeo let it fly a little bit. He had a couple moments in the third, takes it to Harden, and drew the foul, and then again in transition with the Ole defense and put it up strong. So he looked good going to the bucket a couple times. I just wanted to see him be a little more assertive.
Yeah, same, John. I was a little surprised by that, but at the same time, I'm kind of not surprised. That sort of fits his MO, right? I feel like Romeo sort of just he's a good third, fourth option that sort of lays in the back, and then when you least expect it, those backdoor cuts come. Or defensively, he makes these big stops where people don't expect it. But I feel like with a game like this where he was in the starting lineup, everyone sort of expected him to put up at least 13, 14 attempts. And I think because of that, he sort of got a little scared out there, a little shaky.
Yeah, we say that, but it is a completely new spot for him, right? It's a guy that has barely played at all this year, and then throw him in the starting lineup. he's just not used to being in that role. So it's gonna
but
take
draw
a
something
little
up
bit
for
to
him. Like
give him that confidence.
You got Brad's
Sure,
democratic
but are they-
offense. Everyone gets to shoot if you get the ball.
Yeah, but
It doesn't
Joe,
matter.
he's wearing that Harden's beard, man. This kid is not used to this about his life.
Just give him the ball and isolate him and just let him go a little. You just want to see if he's got it.
Yeah, I think what you do see with Romeo though is he definitely has that drive first mentality.
Yeah.
He understands angles. You know, getting to the free throw line is a big time issue on this team with the regular rotation players. So just to see him, you know, have that aggressive mindset is what he's going to do. Because you got to think when he's playing with the regular, you know, starting group, he's going to be like the freshman that plays varsity. He's going to go down. He's going to run in the corner. If they give it to him, great. He's going to move without the ball, and he just has to play defense. So, you know, there were a few times where you got the little Brad Wanamaker ISOs instead of maybe giving it to him on the wing. But I think for what they're going to need from him of slashing, you know, kind of being like that Avery Bradley, cutting off ball, backdoor cuts, he can do that.
Did we have to see this much Wanamaker?
That was a lot. I mean, that was
so much. You tweeted it too.
Yeah,
It's just so much Wanamaker.
Right, man. Respect your elders, man. Come on,
so
man.
much
That guy's like 35.
It reminds me of like when Marcus Smart falls into his bad shot selection spells, and you're like, you got Tatum and Hayward and all them on the floor, and Smart is jacking it up.
Yeah,
it's like you got Taco, you got Romeo out there. Like that's who I know what Brad Wanamaker is.
We know what you do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that guard position is wide open though. So I mean, you would like to see Carson Edwards, which you did see tonight, but you know, Tremont Waters didn't have a great game, but that backup role is wide open for the taking. It's like we kind of know what Brad Wanamaker can do, but like let's just see what else, like a Romeo Langford, like these guys, let them have those minutes.
A lot of people wanted to see Tremont kind of pass Wanamaker. You know, you'd love to see it.
Right.
I don't see it.
I mean, if we're talking about playing in like any of the seeding games for the playoffs, no, I wouldn't play Tremont over Wanamaker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't this year, but for next year. And I'm thinking, okay, this is the Waters game. This is the game we'll be talking about in December. Oh, remember that Waters game when he went off against the Rockets? Yo, he gave Harden 12, 14 points. You know, we didn't get much of that, but I still have hopes for Waters. I like Waters for next season.
Waters' his ceiling is obviously much higher, but this isn't really the time for like experimenting. And you're not going to get that.
Yeah, and then next year, I mean, Wanamaker's 31. He's a free agent this summer. Like, I think if they like what they have with Carson and Tremont, if they don't trade one of them with draft picks this summer, then they're both probably going to get the guarantee.
Yeah, we'll be fine if Wanamaker's not here, I think. But
it'll be tough to see him go.
We'll survive. The other thing is
they have to make a roster move.
Yeah, the thing we keep talking about, the battle for bench minutes, who you want to see coming off the bench in that second unit, and whether Romeo earned his way into it. Obviously, Grant Williams had a good game tonight, and he does what he does, and he did it really efficiently tonight. But again, you're looking at meaningful minutes. Grant's going to get some at the 4, possibly the 5 in that small ball lineup. But between Semi and Romeo and anybody else who's going to come in and fill that wing spot, where do you want to see this go? I
think a lot of it is matchup.
Yeah.
Right. Like if it's Milwaukee, then I want to see a lot more of Semi and Grant. Then I was kind of disappointed in Time Lord's minutes. I just think his post play is just so non-existent. Unless he's rolling hard to the rim and catching lobs, he's not really an offensive threat. So in a playoff series, like I see them going with Grant over him anyways, just because I think he gives you more on both ends. He doesn't play like this is his first go-around. It's really incredible to watch this kid come right in. He's like a bigger Marcus Smart, and his 3 looks a whole lot better. So I'd say Grant's probably my first rookie off the bench.
And that's the thing. Really, we're coming down to which of the players who did nothing of any note in the regular season can possibly earn minutes between all of those guys. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there's any minutes to go between, Romeo or Rob Williams or, Tremont Waters or any of those guys. I think it's going to be a pretty short rotation. You're right. It's going to be Grant. It's going to be Ennis. It's going to be Smart. That's it.
I think the only exception could be Romeo. Now, a lot of
maybe that's what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, just because he's so versatile. I mean, what he does defensively, he can guard multiple positions, and again, those backdoor cuts. When everyone's got their eyes on guys like Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum, he has that capability to sneak and get you those points. So I see him playing I don't know, maybe 8, 9 minutes, but of course it's going to be a short leash. I mean, if he's not able to produce or be consistent throughout that first round, I would say, or even, you know what, the first 8 games, I think Brad Stevens is going to give him a really good audition, so to speak, for the rotation spot, and we'll see how he does.
Yeah, I see more games going like they did today, where Brad's going to sit a lot of starters, throughout these next 8 games at certain points. They're not playing to win all 8 games. I mean, I think there could be 4 games left in the Celtics that might already be completely in their seated spot, and they're just going to work with rotations and get bench guys going and try to get some depth because they do have a weak bench. I mean, let's be honest. They had one before this virus shut the season down, and they come into the bubble with the same team. So they don't have a lot of depth. They need a player like Grant Williams to step into that 7, 8, 9 role and, really give them good quality minutes.
But you got to think it's all about who they play, right? If they play Indiana in the first round, that's a more, and especially if Sabonis doesn't play, that's a more wing-oriented team. I'd want to see someone like Romeo out there on the perimeter, whether it's matching up with T.J. Warren or Oladipo or Chasen McDermott, things like that. But if it's Philly, and you need a little bit more beef, maybe they then go with more Grant before Romeo. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But like you said, we can know halfway through the reseeding games, their seed is locked in. So you see Kemba get rest. You see, Tatum get some rest. And then obviously.
I think that's the way they'll do it. They have to do it that way because they're already in the playoffs. And home court means absolutely nothing. I mean, I guess you want to try to avoid Philly in the first round because that would just kind of be bad luck. But other than that, I mean, you just kind of ride with your roster and assume that you have a more talented team than the first couple of rounds.
Yeah, I think this postseason is going to be really interesting because this is one of the more weaker second units from Brad Stevens. I mean, you could point to that 2018 team because, of course, they didn't have Kyrie and Hayward, and look how far they got. But if we're looking at just the whole second unit as a whole, I mean, the last 2-3 years, Brad's had some really strong, or at least guys he could turn to and rely on from that bench. Outside of Marcus Smart, it gets really slim for Stevens this time.
A nice, easy first round would be good because if you're playing your starters 35, 36, 37 minutes with just starting the season back up, that's going to be tough.
Well, remember, they swept Indiana, which was a quote-unquote easy first round, and then they got to Milwaukee, and it was just nothing. They couldn't reach that level.
That Easter game, though.
Well, that was the Kyrie-led Celtics. Those are Walking Dead.
Our man. So here we go, Friday. I mean, I kind of wish they played anybody else than Milwaukee on the first one out of the gate, but it is what it is. I mean, what we've seen so far, what are we expecting? A couple days from now when they play for real.
What are the other guys going to do? The guy's not named Giannis. I mean, Chris Middleton has looked pretty good. I've seen the last 2 Bucks games, but I mean, Giannis has just been on a tear. He put 30 points up the other night in the first half. That's the kind of focus he's on right now. Guys like him and LeBron, I just think this format and this atmosphere is just right up their alley. They're going to really eat.
It'd just be nice if this were more of if it was like a Washington, it was more of a preseason sort of game.
Thing. Yeah. But you know what? At the same time, though, it's a good measuring stick because both teams are going to look completely different come postseason or whenever they cross paths, if or when. So, yeah, it's a good first test, though. But we'll see. Hopefully, Giannis doesn't drop 55.
Yeah. See, I'm interested because Jalen missed both games this year, I'm pretty sure, against Milwaukee. So I'm interested to see because he was, of all of what the disaster of last year's series was, he's really the only one that has played Milwaukee tough in a playoff series. So I want to see him. But I'm of the line of thinking that, I want these 8 seeding games to all be hard. I want to play the really good teams because I want to know how much I should personally invest my heart into the team. If we know right away that we'll be able to tell if they can hang or not with the better team. So I would rather have that leading into what could be a tough playoff series than play nothing but Washingtons and Brooklyns and just not really be able to get a good sense of
they got a couple Brooklyns in there.
And they punch you in the mouth, are you going to be able to respond?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. You want to see what you're rolling with early on, and it might actually get the team fired up. Even if they go and take one on the chin in the game one, that could be a wake-up call right early on to get them on track where they need to be for the next 7 games for the playoffs. Or they go out there and they compete hard and they let's say they win. I mean, that can kind of give you a little bit of confidence, hey, we can literally beat any team, we are considering ourselves a favorite now to win this thing. We can roll with anybody, as long as we stay healthy. Why not us type mentality? So it's good to get them. I mean, you're going to get your Phoenixes mixed in, or your Washington. I think they play. Is it Washington the last team they play? So I mean, that's a game that you can guarantee no starters will sniff that game. So get them out there and see. Get the juices flowing a little bit. So is Giannis going to drop 40? Probably, but
it's about Middleton. If you stop Middleton, then or just make sure he doesn't shoot 75% from the field, and
even that's below his average.
You kind of have to go
under 50 points.
Yeah, you kind of have to go with the 2010 LeBron Cavs defense, where it's all right, LeBron, you're going to score 40, 45. We're not going to let Daniel Gibson score 20 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Greeny, we didn't get a chance to hear from you after the first two games, but just looking at the starters, what do you think? What you saw, a little bit of Kemba. Jalen was obviously awesome. Tatum took a little while. Anything pop for you?
Just how ready Jalen looked. I mean, I think Tatum gets so much of the publicity, and deservedly so, but you look at Jalen, and he's really the key for me of why this team took a leap. I mean, he got his money, he got, all his starting role back, he got his, hierarchy on the team back, and he didn't settle. He had career year across the board. He looks like he's in great shape. So that was really, impressive to see, and sort of calming, because we don't know, him and Tatum have to be the ones that carry him. That was the decision this franchise made when they didn't gut the team for Anthony Davis. So that was good. It was good to see Kemba's burst. It was good to see Smart get his shot selection under control once the rotation was normal and things get back. But I didn't love Daniel Tyson his first two appearances. Kanter was good, but he still makes me a little nervous. He's a turnover machine.
Everybody nervous.
Yeah, it makes me his skill set is so needed. He's the best offensive rebounder I think the Celtics have had in my lifetime. Yeah. For real. But I don't know how much he misses too many bunny putbacks that just make me uncomfortable. But I think it was generally what I expected. I think the first game was weird, jitters, all that stuff. They shot terribly, but the second game, even though it wasn't against a good defense, I think we saw them play the same sort of style that we were used to.
Yeah, we had Danny Fortson for a little bit. That might be the only one I could think of.
But even
I was trying to rack my brain.
I'm fairly certain. Wow. If you look it up, I think he has the best offensive rebound percentage in franchise. They've never had anything like that. Yeah. Josue, Jimmy, final thoughts? Anything before we wrap it heading into Friday?
Look, this game, I'm excited for it. This is easily the most exciting game out of the 8. I know it's kind of unfortunate that it's the very first one. But again, this atmosphere and this competitiveness between two superstars, one is a rising star, the other one is Giannis, and I really do think Tatum lives for these moments, especially all year long. He's really been that guy on the big stage. It doesn't always translate to a win. I'm thinking about the Lakers game, for example, the one in LA and a couple other ones. But he's going to really step up to the challenge here. So I'm really looking forward to that. And to Green's point, Jalen, I think, is feeling some of that, saying, you know what, I can also, raise him up. This is my time here, So I'm with you on that, Greeny. I can definitely see these two just really leading this team throughout these 8 games.
Yeah, for me, I'm just.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my closing thought is I'm just fired up. It's Friday night basketball, Celtics, Bucks. I'm just praying the bubble doesn't pop, because when you look at baseball and you look at football and you kind of get a little nervous here, but everything's been holding up so far, and I think the Celtics are in just as good a position as any team in the NBA is. And you guys talked about Jaylen Brown, but I completely agree. I mean, this guy has had a very busy quarantine, right? I mean, we know he's been all around the country. He's been very vocal, and it looks like he's been staying in shape. He's out for blood right now, and I think him and Tatum are like a two-headed monster. And if you can get Kemba at 75%, I don't want Kemba to hurt himself, obviously, but if you can get him to get his minutes up and to take the ball out of their hands so that they can do their thing off the ball, then I think you've got a legit chance.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how they start. If you look at both the games against Milwaukee this year, they were down 15, 16 points in a blink of an eye. And They were able to come back when they played in Boston early in the year. They sort of made it competitive in Milwaukee towards the end, but that was largely a blowout. So that's just a team, like, if they turn it over, if it gets into a transition game and they get down, 12, 14 points, like, I don't want to see that. I want to see them play with Milwaukee for a full 48. And if you lose because Giannis just, or they, make 25 threes, so be it. But I just want to see them be competitive and get off to a good start.
Yeah, I'm just curious how serious they take it, or if they take it almost kind of like half a preseason game. We'll dip one toe in the water, or if they really go for it. And if they do, that's great because we want it, we need it. This is what we want to see. So hopefully, we get it.
I think this is where you gotta get good habits going. So I don't think they can take games off. At least not the games where all the stars are playing. If you want to take games off, wait until it's game 6 or something. Where everything's kind of set.
Yeah, I think you're going to see, you're going to have Milwaukee who's going to be motivated to be like, listen, the Celtics are getting a lot of hype.
Exactly.
Remember who we are. And then you have the who are like, listen, we're not afraid of you, Milwaukee. Like, historic net rating. Like, I don't care. We're going to take it to you. So I think both are going to take it pretty seriously.
I know, and I am a little afraid. I mean, we know how to spin it. They go out, Celtics go out and get blasted. They'll be like, we treated it like a preseason game.
Right.
They go out, and they go out, and they beat them, and like we're gonna win. So,
the Bucks are hearing the same thing that those are hearing, right? It's like, oh, you guys have a chance to make the finals, but I don't know about the Bucks. That's tough.
Right.
We have a really good shot, but look out for the Celtics. I don't know about those guys.
It's somehow people forgot that the Bucks have been a historically dominant team through the first part of the season. So it's like
you're Milwaukee.
I know, but I mean,
make a sound up there.
Nothing changed. It's the same thing. I don't know how all of a sudden, but I mean, we'll ride the wave. It's
like coronavirus. Nothing changed, but here we are.
Right.
I mean, I'm already mad. I can feel my anger of like Robin Lopez going 3 for 5 from 3 in the first quarter. Just something super random where you're just like
all of it.
How the Bucks?
He doesn't make threes. Didn't he do that last game? He didn't go bananas with.
Yeah, he made his first 3.
Oh God!
In the first half.
My blood's already up. Every Middleton bucket makes me lose my mind because exactly like you say, he shoots 85% against the Celtics. But yeah, I'm pre-angry right now. Yeah,
the Goblin himself.
Yeah. So we look forward to Friday. I'll wrap it up for Josue and Jimmy and Greeny. We're going to do this all season long, so if you want to join us again, you're more than welcome. Man.
Yeah, maybe next time I won't be in like a cave. I'll actually have like
take our word for it.
But yeah.
I mean, y'all look so good and professional. I'm sitting here with like a yellow light bulb in one little sconce in my back office.
I'm sitting in front of my bar.
Different than the Barstool office.
Yeah, this is it's not as depressing, I think.
I know. Dan's the best. Look, you got the bar. He's chilling.
I got my bar behind me. Rich mahogany. Yeah.
Nice.
Good setup. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Yo, we'll get the electric bill paid for Greeny before the next one.
I know. It's like I barely got cable. I can't even afford lighting. Times are tough. The hiatus is tough, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to sign off. Take care.
All right. Thanks.